What the fuck did I just watch? What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Cinemaniac Central. My name is Chris, and today I just got back from watching Madam Web. So I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that. But first off, I just want to be honest. I am not the biggest superhero fan. Don't really care too much for Marvel or DC. I'm more akin to like the 80s and 90s versions of Batman, Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer and George Clooney, which, we all know about Batman and Robin. And I like Christopher Nolan's versions of it, mainly The Dark Knight. And I like Deadpool. I like Ant Man, even the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I'm just not. I just don't really care too much for Superman. Not really that much for Spider Man or any Avengers shit or anything like that. So it's just not my thing. So I'm not too familiar with the whole Spider Man lore, but I have a little bit of knowledge of it, just not a whole lot, basic knowledge anyway. But yeah, with Madam Web, the only reason that I was wanting to go check this thing out was for Isabella Merced, and when I found out that she was in this, I was like, yeah, I gotta check this out, no matter how bad it is. And I love Isabella Merced. She's very talented. I adore her. I've loved her ever since her breakout performance in Instant Family with Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne. Also, Dora the Explorer and Dora the Lost City of Gold. She was terrific in that. Great movie. And she's also in the upcoming Alien Romulus movie that's coming out in August. So I can't wait to see that. But with Madam Web, basically you have Dakota Johnson, who plays Cassandra Webb, who is an EMT officer who gets into this accident, and she apparently is able to have visions of the future that where she winds up discovering these three young women that are being hunted down by this man, Ezekiel Sims, who is trying to kill them. Basically, because he is having these visions, he thinks anyway that they're trying to kill him, so he's trying to prevent that from happening. So, yeah, and that's your basic premise right here. And honestly, after seeing this movie, yeah, it is bad. It is awful, very very bad. But there's a small slight but. There are a few bright spots in this movie that I actually kind of liked. One thing I wish I mentioned before was Isabella Merced. I thought she was good in this. I really did. I thought of all the performances in here, for the most part, she's the one that kind of stands out as being the most likable. And even though I think with the script and the dialogue, which I'll get to that in a minute, that she's given, which is bad here and there, she's still good. Also, Adam Scott, I thought he was good here too. I was actually surprised about how as much screen time as he is, because I had heard that he didn't have a whole lot of screen time in here, and I thought he had more than I thought he had more than enough decent time on there. Maybe more. He probably should have had more on there, more in the film, more time in the movie, but I thought he had enough for me to actually kind of care about his character. He didn't have a whole, but the only problem is his character didn't have a whole lot at stake, really. But for the time that he was there, I enjoyed it, and that's about it. That's the end of my positives. So let's just dive into the negatives here. My biggest negative, my biggest negative really is the lead. I mean, is the lead. Dakota Johnson, I mean, as much as I like her, I know she's best known for her roles in the 50 Shades of Grey movies, and I did watch that whole trilogy, and they're watchable. I mean, they're much more watchable than this. Yeah, I found her character so unlikable. I just did not care for her personality. Just her attitude, like towards the girls, and just I don't know. I mean, she has some moments of humor, and there were some moments. There was a couple of brief moments of some laughs and a decent chuckle here and there, but none that really warranted its presence in the movie. And it was all over the place for me. and and of course the dialogue that she's given. Oh my god, it's the biggest thing, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Uh, as far as the rest of the cast, I mean, Sydney Sweeney, I mean, she's okay. Celeste O'Connor, she was okay. They paled in comparison to Isabella Merced for me. Uh, the visual effects. I mean, the visual effects are just not all that great. The story itself is not all that interesting. You have that's the problem with the premise here is actually pretty good, but it's squandered by just the way it's utilized, and just the idea of him going after these girls is cool and all, but the way it's executed is just horrible. You have him. He's going after these girls in this the spider person suit, that resembles something of, Spider-Man, but there's no connection to the Spider-Man universe, really. It's just, he's just there as an Easter egg. As I said before, I'm not familiar with the lore, so I might be wrong, but that's just the way I kind of piece it together. I didn't feel a connection there, and there's this whole connection with him and the connection he has with his mom that he had with his mom 30 years ago, and I didn't see no relevance to that plot line and that connection either, and it didn't make a lot of the story. Just was all over the place. The way the visions are executed and whether the visions are kind of transition and everything makes absolutely no sense. And there's a certain moment at the very end of the movie, in the third act, during the final confrontation, that makes no sense. Something happens when it comes to her powers, makes absolutely no sense either, and it just baffled my mind. I'm just like, what? I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching here? What am I witnessing here? I mean, what did you guys see? I don't know what the fuck to make of it, but yeah, and then our villain here, Ezekiel Sims, he is. The dialogue that he gets, of course, is not that great. A lot of the times, the ADR, the way his lips and the audio does not match what he's saying. It's bad. And I think he is one of the worst villains in comic book movie history, at least of the comic book movies that I have seen. As I said before, I'm not familiar with them all that much, but from what I have seen in the past, this definitely ranks right at the top. And so, and then finally, and lastly, the dialogue. I mean, the dialogue in here is atrocious. There's mainly from Dakota Johnson's character. Basically, when she has conversations with these girls, and just the things that she says is just, I'm like, seriously? Really? You really just said that? Aside from Isabella Merced, she almost makes it worth to go rewatch it again, but I don't think I'm going to be watching it anytime soon. Not even when it first hit streaming. And I know it's been told that it's been said that people would not recommend going to see this and wasting your money. Honestly, I say the same thing. Do not go see this movie. I don't recommend it, and yeah, I wouldn't even recommend seeing it when it comes on streaming either. It's that bad. It's awful. I struggled to stay awake, but I had to, for the sake of this review, to tell you guys how I felt about it. But yeah, damn. And to be honest with you, I didn't have a whole lot of faith in this movie to begin with, because, as I said before, I'm not a comic book person. I'm not a superhero movie person. So honestly, didn't really expect much out of it, because it's just not my thing. As I said before, the only reason I went to see this was Isabella Merced, to see her and see what she could do. And she was one of the few bright spots in this movie, her and Adam Scott. Aside from everything else was just atrocious, awful, and I just did not like it. I did not like it, and that's my thoughts on Madam Web. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this, hit the like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't already for more content as I upload it. Also, follow me at Criticless. I'll have a link for that down below in the description. I have about 100 reviews on there, including this one. Go through those, check out those reviews. If you like any of those, and you want me to do a review on any of those movies, let me know in the comments down below. Once again, I love you guys. You guys are the best, and I'll see you in the next one.